Two coronavirus patients to be released pending final tests, which will be conducted later this week. A leading bank in Tunisia is encouraging customers to use mobile and online banking amid coronavirus outbreak. Ugandan markets have begun to experience increase in the price of food commodities since the confirmation of the first case of COVID-19 in the country. This and more coming on The World Today. Hello, this is iAfrica TV and it is 1700 GMT here in our studios in Banjul. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. The Gambia will discharge 2 out of 3 patients of the COVID-19 pending on the final test to be conducted on them later this week, according to the Minister of Health and Social Welfare. The first case was tested on a Gambian female who flew from the United Kingdom, while the third case was confirmed on a Gambian from France. The two, in the testimony of the Minister of Health on Tuesday, have been medically stable and could be discharged any time from now. Let's have more of that in this report.
2 patients out of the 4 confirmed cases of the COVID-19 in the Gambia are awaiting for the second test to determine their total recovery from the virus this week. The first and the third cases has already been tested negative after a period of treatment at the Medical Research Council in Fajara, but a confirmatory negative result is required before they could be discharged.
A total number of 14 samples were tested and they all came out negative. Out of these, 2 were repeat tests conducted on the first case and also the third case currently on admission. Both cases will be retested in a day or 2 for confirmation of recovery. That means if the 2 tests are repeated again and they turn out to be negative, the 2 individuals will be considered to have recovered from COVID-19. So we are awaiting the second test for each of those individuals. For a confirmed case to be declared as recovered, there should be 2 consecutive negative tests.
While the second case, who happened to be a Bangladesh national, died in the virus, the 4th case of the COVID-19 is receiving treatment under the government health facilities. Minister Ahmadu Lamin Samate told journalists on Tuesday that while a total of 97 tests have been conducted, only 4 were positive.
As a country, a total of 97 laboratory tests have been conducted to date, out of which 92 were negative, 4 were positive, and there is a single probable case. In addition to that, a total number of 247 persons have been placed on quarantine and 168 contacts have been traced and have been actively followed up.
Meanwhile, a number of nationals of sister West African countries, including neighboring Senegal, where over 200 cases have been confirmed, are heading to the Gambia in search of safety.
Recently, 8 individuals who came by road from Sierra Leone were intercepted in Upper River region and they are undergoing quarantine as we speak to you. It has also come to our notice that a lot of people use boats, fishing boats and other boats, to evade the immigration officials, to evade the border posts and come into the Gambia through illegal entry points. We urge all our citizens to be vigilant, to protect the Gambia's borders and to report any of such cases, because a single case could mean disaster for our communities when they are not detected on time, when the necessary measures are not taken to ensure that if they are infected, the infection is controlled.
The government of the Gambia is now seeking to extend the state of a public emergency through the National Assembly for 90 days. This, in addition to the $5 million pledge, is intended to control the spread of the disease, although the debate as to the way forward continues among Gambians in different walks of life. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Yamundauge.
From the report there on the state of the coronavirus in the country as of yesterday, and today we look forward to hear from the ministry again. Now, one of the Tunisia's leading banks have devised means to protect its clients from contracting the deadly coronavirus pandemic, as advised by the country's central bank. Customers are advised to take advantage of online and mobile banking instead of personal visit during the COVID-19 pandemic. The banking industry has contributed about $14 million as part of efforts to contain the virus. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Aman Bank is one of the leading banks in Tunisia. The administration has approved and unveiled the new sanitary measures at all agencies and branches across the country.
We follow the central bank's recommendations by taking necessary precautionary measures at a difficult time. The safety of our clients and employees is a priority. The bank is providing all equipment and logistical needs to guarantee a normal functioning of its agencies.
A safety zone has been put in place. In addition, the security and safety team ensures the process of continuous temperature checks with thermometer guns and the use of hand sanitizers for clients and employees.
Aman Bank is applying strict measures without exception. We allow only one client per operation. We are adapting our security work to the latest developments following the coronavirus pandemic. The bank staff and customers are reacting positively to the new measures.
Tunisian and foreign clients have welcomed the prevention measures at the bank branch.
The bank is very serious about sanitary measures. Security agents control all the people who enter the branch. It's clean, safe, and the distance is respected. It's normal to prevent the spread of the virus, which threatens the whole world.
The Tunisian Professional Association of Banks and Financial Institutions has announced that the overall contribution of the banking sector to the national effort to combat the spread of COVID-19 has risen to around $40 million. This contribution is part of a concerted action of several Tunisian banks. Amid the current coronavirus crisis, Tunisian banks are encouraging customers to take advantage of online, mobile and phone banking services instead of branch visits. In fact, this unusual situation requires exceptional and innovative measures.
From the report there in Tunisia, we come back home and report on matters of the UDP, because the United Democratic Party spokesperson Almami Fafandin Tal has told Africa TV that the party's expulsion of Brikama Area Council chairperson Sirifo Sonko and two other ward councillors was because they failed in their role as members of the party in their region. The party sacked Mr. Sonko alongside Jambur and Nema Kunku ward councillors following its West Coast Region Executive Committee recommendations on the basis that they no longer represent the interests of the party. Let's have more of that in this report.
Spokesperson Almami Fafandin Tal said United Democratic Party's decision to expel Brikama Area Council chairperson Sirifo Sonko and two other councillors was because they have not been fulfilling their role as members of the party in their region. The party sacked Mr. Sonko on March 27 alongside Jambul Ward Councillor Modu Bojang and Nemakunkung Ward Councillor Bilal Pal following its West Coast Region Executive Committee recommendation on the basis that they no longer represent the interests of the party. Mr. Tal told iAfrica's Wednesday Good Morning Africa show that the three expelled men have not been representing the party's interests and have not been fulfilling their roles in the West Coast region.
No, this is a voluntary organization. It's a political party, and it has rules of membership, and it survives based really on the principles of democratic control. Whenever you are elected to an office, there are responsibilities that is conferred on you. And as a voluntary organization, not having, the instruments of control that a state or a private sector organization has, the only thing is that if the person has not been performing his obligations to the party must have disciplinary measures. So they have not been fulfilling their role as members of the party in their region.
The UDP party has been in opposite corners with Chairman Sonko for a long time after he maintained what many called his loyalty to President Adama Barrow against the party's wish. He was once quoted as saying that he would never work against a sitting president, referring to President Barrow, who was one time an executive member of the UDP but resigned in 2016 to lead the coalition that defeated former President Yahya Jammeh in that year's election. Spokesperson Tal said UDP is a party that operates on rules and regulations, and they will not allow anyone to break those bylaws, even though membership and participation is voluntary based.
Certainly, when you have a membership organization, the more members you have, the better. And, I think it's a misnomer to say that they have been sacked. There is no sacking involved here. I mean, like I said, this is a voluntary organization, and people go there voluntarily and take up membership based on the rules and regulations. So they have been expelled. They are no longer members of the party because they are not serving any useful purpose as members of the party. So whenever you have a loss in your membership as a membership organization, obviously that is going to have an impact. But if that member or those members have not been acting in a beneficial way to the organization, obviously the impact would be very minimal. It would be even almost non-existent.
The United Democratic Party was founded in 1996, led by human rights lawyer Usainu Dabo as Secretary General. Mr. Dabo was jailed in April 2016 alongside others after organizing a protest in demand for electoral reforms in opposition to the ruling government of then President Yahya Jammeh. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Aminata Job.
From that report, they are done by, of course, Ami Job. We would now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the story. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on iAfrica TV, and now to the rest of the stories. Up to Nigeria, because of course Nigerian barbers may be forced to find new alternatives as source of income due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic on their business. With strict measures taken by the government to cope the spread of the disease, businesses is not moving as usual, resulting to downside of their monthly earnings. Let's have more of that in this report.
Took up barbing as a profession some 10 years back. He owns this little shop in Dawaki, a suburb on the outskirts of the Abuja city centre. He raked in an average $250 every week, but his business is now experiencing its worst setback since being set up. More than 60% of his earnings has been slashed, and that is due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Like before, like weekend like this, we used to have a lot of customers, but a lot of people are scared now to come and barb. But we have our equipment to like hand sanitizer and all that. I will ensure my customer that I put everything in place.
In spite of Victor's assurances, These measures don't seem quite satisfactory for customer Nick Asuzu, who comes here every 10 days to have a haircut.
What I saw today at the barber shop, I wasn't impressed. The square feet, where his shop is about 12 square feet. I will have about 10 people inside the place at a time. That's not part of the recommendation by the health experts to prevent the spread of the COVID-19. I had to request for the sanitizer before it was given to me. It's not properly displayed for everybody to use.
And as the COVID-19 cases continue to soar, the situation would get even worse for lots of businesses like this that require handlers touching and being in close proximity to their customers.
Certainly, I might not come to barb again until the situation improves.
With every passing day, government puts in place stricter measures to curb the spread of the virus, from border closure to schools, markets and government offices shutting down. Some states are considering curfews and a total lockdown. This implies that businesses like Victor's would not be reviving anytime soon. As such, they'll be exploring other money-making ventures to keep them afloat.
Report there in Nigeria. Finally, we head to Uganda, where prices of food commodities in Uganda markets have begun to significantly increase since the confirmation of the first COVID-19 case in the country. But gardeners have other options to deal with the situation, while others struggle to get food. Experts have advised people to be engaged in small-scale farming to deal with the situation. Let's have more of that in this report.
The rush for food in downtown Kampala. People rush to stock up amid the COVID-19 crisis. But on the outskirts of the capital, Diana Nambatia is comfortable. She has enough here to last her many months.
On this just half an acre, I'm unable to sustain the demand for my vegetables and for all these other things, including my strawberries.
Unlike Nambatia, many other people struggle to get food. Since the first COVID-19 case was announced here, food prices have gone up. The vegetables sold in this market cost about $1 a week ago. They now cost twice the amount. Limited public transportation has also affected food supplies to the urban areas. Experts now warn the situation could get worse.
Right now, many plantations don't have workers, and also many plantations have been established to export products, and most of them produce things which we cannot consume every day as food. For example, tea, sugar, oil seeds, and other kind of stuff. And many plantations have neglected the basic foodstuffs.
And to meet the demand, experts advise that small-scale gardening can contribute to maintaining food supplies during the pandemic.
It's very, very important for African communities to have a vegetable garden, to have a pulse garden right in front of your house or even on the balcony, to have some vegetables which you can eat as a salad or which you can feed to your children, even in terms of crisis as we are waiting for more food to come.
With the increasing number of COVID-19 cases in Uganda, the government has imposed strict measures. There are likely to be more long days at home as governments impose lockdowns. And many in Kampala worry about not having enough to eat if food supplies are disrupted.
From that report there in Uganda, we finally bring this news bulletin to an end. But for more on those stories and others, you can also log on our website on africa.tv. Many thanks for the pleasure of your company, and of course, stay safe. Do have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.
My fellow Gambians, The coronavirus